MLS's quest for a second team in the Big Apple. The U.S. has more injury concerns at hand, and one designated player eyes a loan to Mexico. Next on The Daily. Hello and welcome to The Daily. It is Thursday, October 11th. I'm Andrew Wiebe. Next to me, Greg Lalas. And Greg, the big news here in New York yesterday, at least in the soccer community, MLS coming out publicly with their desire to build a stadium, to have a team in Queens at Flushing Meadow Corona Park.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of been in the wind already that there was going to be they were looking at building a stadium in Queens out at Flushing Meadow Park, which an executive from MLS called the most diverse part of the city, maybe the country, maybe even the world. And you know, if you ever go out there on a weekend, Andrew, it is a madhouse of soccer with all the games that are going on out there. It's a pretty interesting development that would take place out there. There would be a lot of work done to upgrade a lot of the soccer fields. There would be replacement of any parkland that would be lost, would be replaced elsewhere in the park. And you know, the fields that would be upgraded over time would actually be upgraded to the point of them being sort of, you know, not AstroTurf, but field turf.
All weather.
Yes, all weather turf, which would be terrific out there as well, considering the weather that they get in New York sometimes.
Yeah, the timeline currently laid out. 2013, an owner hopefully would be established at that point in time. Construction to start on a stadium, 25,000 seater in 2014, and then the team would hit the field in 2016. Stay tuned to MLSsoccer.com for any developments on that plan. Well, down the coast in Miami, there's some concern for the U.S. national team these days. Of course, on Friday, they'll take on Antigua and Barbuda in the island nation. That's 7 p.m. on BN Sport. But they won't have a whole lot of width, Greg. 2 more players ruled out today after Landon, Donovan, and Brek Shea already went home. Yeah,
I mean, Donovan and Shea, I'm still not sure why they were brought in, considering that they were already missing games for their own team, their own club team. I would imagine there should be more communication. Now, Fabian Johnson with the flu, he will not travel to Antigua and Barbuda. And Edgar Castillo sent back home with a foot injury, limped off of training the other day. I mean, Andrew, at this point, I'm not really sure who starts at left back for the U.S. Who do you think?
Yeah, it gets pretty difficult at that point. Going to have to shuffle. We had thought Fabian Johnson might move up into left midfield. Do you push somebody over? Does Jeff Cameron perhaps move over? I have to doubt that that would happen, but big decisions there for Jurgen.
You could also see that, you know, maybe Parkhurst, who has played on the outside for his club team, he could go there. Bocanegra obviously has experience at left back. You could push him to left back with Cameron and Goodson in the middle or something like that. I mean, the other side of this is it's Antigua and Barbuda, and really, you know, Andrew, you could start at left back, and I think it'd be okay.
Well, that's not entirely true, but a little bit of news on the Donovan front. The LA Galaxy not worried. Bruce Arena calling it perhaps a boo-boo, you know.
A boo-boo?
Yeah, pushing that down a bit. Of course, they'll have to see. They'll have some tests scheduled for today on him. And some more news with LA. Robbie Keane will not play in Ireland's qualifier, has some issues as well. So those are 2 to watch for LA Galaxy fans. Well, speaking of designated players, there's one in New York that thinks that perhaps the change in leadership there at Red Bull will maybe allow him to head south on loan this offseason. Rafa Marquez with some interesting comments.
Yeah, he's coming out and saying that he doesn't want to spend the offseason not playing. He says he needs to go back to Mexico, perhaps go on loan, and spend the offseason playing, getting in shape, finding his game again. I would say maybe finding himself again in order to come back to New York for next season. Right now, the club that he wants to go play for is Atlas. Remains to be seen whether a deal could be done for a loan for him to go down there. I think this would be good for him. I think he does need to go play. I think that right now there are some questions in the New York camp about where Marquez fits in this team. I think obviously, actually, since he came to New York, those questions have existed. So does he go? We'll find out. Would it be good for all parties? I would say yes.
Yeah, a little bit of a lost season for Marquez this year with so many injuries. Make sure to check MLSsoccer.com for all that news. We'll have all those updates. We will also have some good guests today on Extra Time Radio. Andre Hainault of Canada and the Houston Dynamo will join us to talk World Cup qualifying and that playoff race down there in Houston. We'll also talk to our man on the ground in Miami, Robert Andrew Powell, with an update on what exactly Jurgen Klinsmann plans on doing. Of course, plenty to talk about with what we've said, so if you have anything to say, feel free, leave a comment in the comment section below or tweet Greg or I. We'd love to hear what you have to say about New York expansion, Rafa Marquez, or what exactly Jurgen Klinsmann plans on doing at left back on Friday. Leave those in the comment section or tweet us, and we'll catch you tomorrow.